From kicking a lieutenant without any guilt
Please talk to me about what's going on.
to an entire family's house being ransacked, these cops do not care what they do or who they put in danger. Disclaimer: all content in this video is for general educational purposes only. On December 5th, 2020, two officers with the Windsor Police Department pulled over a black Chevy Tahoe because they didn't see a plate number.
Speeds are 18. They was changing lanes. Approaching Church Street intersection.
U.S. Army Lieutenant Karen Nazario was behind the wheel of his brand new car when he noticed a police car behind him. Nazario reduced his speed and searched for a well-lit area to park. He eventually spotted a gas station and pulled to a stop. Then the screams began.
Driver, roll the window down!
Felony traffic stop.
Put your hands out the window!
Nazario was surprised by both the outbursts and the show of force, but he remained calm, turned on his camera, and put his hands outside the car as they ordered.
Let me see your hands! How many occupants are in the vehicle?
What's going on?
How many occupants are in your vehicle?
It's only myself. Why are your weapons drawn? What's going on?
Still confused about why he was stopped so violently, at least the officers would see his uniform and relax a little. Plot twist: they didn't.
Open the door slowly and step out! Open the door!
After shouting a few more instructions, the officers screamed at him to get out of the car.
Open the door slowly and get out! Get out of the car, now! Open the door and get out of the car!
Nazario would not move.
Open the door!
I'm not getting out the vehicle. What's going on?
Get out of the car! Open the door slowly and get out!
What's going on?
Get out of the car, now!
He continued asking what was happening, but none of them replied. When he told them he was serving in the military, one officer even gave a snarky retort.
Get out of the car now!
I'm serving this country and this is how I'm treated?
Yo, what? Guess what? I'm a veteran too. I learned to obey.
That's-
Get out of the car!
What's going
Get out of
on?
the car now!
Ignoring all his questions about what was happening, the officers approached him with their guns pointed at him.
Get out of the car!
Sir, just get out the car. Work with us and we'll talk to you. Get out the car.
You received an order. Obey it.
They demanded that he get out of the car, but Nazario was scared stiff.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I
Yeah, you
ask you
should
what's
be.
going?
Get out.
The shouts continued, with one of the officers attempting to pull open the doors.
Yeah, you should be. Get out.
Nazario's hands remained outside of the window all this time, and he continued to calmly ask what he'd done and read out his rights.
What's
Get out!
going on? What
Get
did
out
I
the
do?
car!
Get out now.
I have not committed any crimes.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now.
The officer, on the other hand, was far from calm.
You're under arrest
For a traffic-
You're being detained. Okay.
He tried to grab Nazario's hands through the window.
You're being detained for
For a
obstructing justice.
traffic violation, I do not have to get out the vehicle. You haven't even told me why I'm being stopped.
Really?
Get your hands.
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me,
Get out.
please. Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me.
Then he got out his pepper spray and repeatedly sprayed him in the face.
Get your hands off me.
Back up, dude.
I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
Sir,
Get out of the car
Don't
now.
do that.
Hey, get out
Don't
of
do
the car
that.
now.
Don't do.
Look,
I'm trying to talk
get out.
to you.
Okay.
I'm trying to
I'm gonna
talk.
talk to you.
Get out.
Just get out of
Relax.
the car.
Can you please
Get out.
relax? Can
Get
you
out.
please relax?
Get out of the car right now.
I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me? I didn't do anything. Whoa, hold on. What's going? Hold on. Watch it.
Nazario was already incapacitated and could barely open his eyes, but the orders continued.
Listen, take off your seatbelt and get out of the car.
He even refused to help him out of the seatbelt.
Hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
Hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
Hands are out. Please.
Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground or you're getting sprayed again. Get on the ground.
When Nazario finally got out of the car, one of the officers began to kick at him
Can you please talk to me about what's
Get on
going
the ground.
on?
Get on the ground now.
and force him to the ground, trying to get him on all fours. At the same time, Nazario continued to ask what he had done.
please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on? Can you please talk to me about what's going on?
Once Nazario was handcuffed, the older officer, Joe Gutierrez, demanded to know why he hadn't stopped when he tried to pull him over.
Why didn't you just do the rest? No, you weren't. You were not. My partner put his blue lights on.
Yes.
You didn't stop.
Nazario didn't have a good reason not to stop.
I was pulling over to a well-lit area for my safety and yours. I have respect for law enforcement.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No. Wrong answer, sir. If you did, we would not be in this situation right now. And you refused. You said, no, I'm not getting out of the car.
I was asking what was going on. My hands are out the window.
And we told you it was a traffic stop, and you refused to comply.
Yup, all of this was over a traffic stop because they hadn't seen a plate number. You know, the temporary one pasted at the back window of his car. Gutierrez claimed the situation had only escalated because Nazario didn't step out of his car.
Coming here was not the problem. That was not the problem. The problem is when you refuse to get out of the car. Okay? You refuse to get out of the car.
Totally ignoring the fact that they'd pulled up there with their guns drawn. Once Gutierrez realized their error, he didn't make an apology.
How's your eyes doing, Lieutenant? You better. And I keep calling you Lieutenant. I told you I'm a veteran. I respect rank. Okay, I was a corporal in the Marine Corps. I respect rank. However, I do have a job to do. Okay.
Instead, he made a veiled threat at Nazario.
If you plan on making this a career or even 6 years or whatever, it's up to you. I don't care. There's no need getting this on your record.
Telling him that they would look away if he ignored everything that had just happened and didn't press charges.
However, it's entirely up to you. If you want to fight it and argue, I mean, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, okay? I mean, you have that right as a citizen. If that's what you want, we'll charge you, have you go to court, notify the command, do all that, or we can take time out of our night, which is not a problem. We're being paid to take care of people, okay?
You know, because police officers are usually very understanding.
If you want to just chill, let this go, and no charges filed, we'll take the handcuffs off, we'll get you a bottle of water you can drink on, and sit here until you feel comfortable driving. All right?
Nazario was free to go, and no charges were filed against him. Then, 4 months later, the video went viral, and Gutierrez was fired.
Yeah, Nicole, several people said that they are furious at the way those officers treated Army 2nd Lieutenant Karan Nazario, but some said they are even more upset with how long it took for town officials to take action.
The police chief made a statement about the incident, but it did not go down well with the public.
You know, Lieutenant Nazario took certain actions that created where we got to, and I think that, you know, we'll let the court sort that part of it out and litigate that part.
And they were soon calling for his job.
It's time for a change, and we're going to fight to see until we see some differences.
Lieutenant Nazario later filed $1 million lawsuit against both officers. After watching all this over a mere traffic stop, the jury awarded Nazario just under $4,000 for punitive damages and compensation. Cops are human after all, and sometimes you can't blame them for making mistakes. But mistaking an agent for a criminal, that's where you need to draw the line.
Okay, no, you are wrong.
But before that, meet ATF agent James Burke, who went to a home in Columbus, Ohio to retrieve a weapon from someone who wasn't authorized to own it. Burke knocked on the door, but the man refused to talk to him and called 911.
917 call.
When officers Joseph Fine and Kevin Winchell showed up, Burke immediately let them know that he was with the FBI.
Hey, turn around, let me see your hands. Turn around, let me see your hands. Okay, let me see your hands.
But things quickly escalated from there.
I need to see some ID. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Get on the ground.
What's your deal?
Get on the ground now.
But it looks like Fine just isn't convinced that Burke is telling the truth about his identity.
On the ground. I'm a federal agent.
Why wouldn't you show me your ID when I got here? Don't move forward.
You didn't ask for it.
Get on the ground. We'll figure it out.
While Agent Burke repeatedly lets the cop know that he is in fact a federal agent, the back and forth just keeps going on for a while.
Why do you got to make this harder than it is?
Listen, I'm not getting.
I have no problem making this.
You're the overreacting.
I'm not overreacting.
But when Joseph's partner Kevin Winchell shows up as a backup, things start getting even more aggressive.
Get your hands up! Sir!
Don't face down on the ground. Face down now. Face down. You are the one making a mistake. Settle down. Face down now. All the way down. All the way.
While it's clear that Burke isn't resisting, the officers are extremely violent as they handcuff him.
You're acting like a moron. Wait a second. Wait a second. Don't do this. Wait a second. I got a medical condition. Get my lights out of my... We're getting you first. Wait. Go.
Burke keeps begging him to take his license out of his pocket, but the cops don't seem to care at that point.
Please help me. Sir, please get my federal creds. No, don't do that, please.
The officers then force Burke to sit up, which is when they finally started looking for his ID.
Sit up. My goddamn creds, for Christ's sake. Right here, left pocket. Left pocket. Car's a pocket. Please take it out.
But once again, the situation only escalates from there.
Please take it out. Stay on job. Then you should have behaved the way you did. My God! No, you're the one that's wrong.
Once the officers take a look at Burke's ID, they start questioning him about his supervisors.
I'm with you guys, for Christ's sake. Who's your supervisor? What's your supervisor's name? Hang on a second.
But instead of letting him go after that, they continue to harass him.
Get in the car. Get in the car. Sir. I'm just trying to do my job. Just get in the car.
Burke then tries to calmly talk to the cops, explaining his side of the story and his medical condition.
No, I was trying to give you my creds. You didn't let me show them to you.
Never once tried.
I did. Get in the car. Wait. Now. Have a seat. Please. Wait, I gotta breathe. Okay, please, sir, let me breathe. Sit down and breathe. Let me breathe.
But they just want to force him into the car.
Sir, get your legs in. I need air. Sir, please, call an ambulance. I'm asking for an ambulance. You got a medic coming. Get in the car. Sir, I don't need the medic. The taser didn't bother. You just said call an ambulance. We don't. Now you don't want one. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get all the way in. I can't breathe. I'll go around.
While Mr. Burke keeps resisting the two officers, they do everything they can to restrict him and make sure he stays in the vehicle.
Let's keep him coming. How did this happen? Okay. You're an idiot. For crying out loud, you're a cop. You're not an ass. No, wait, I did. You're my head up. The seatbelt's in place. Please.
After all that, the officers call for backup to confirm whether or not Burke really is a federal agent.
If he is an actual police officer, he ought to be ashamed of himself.
Sir, I'm not.
You're not. You're right. You're not. Yeah.
Once all is said and done, it's confirmed that Mr. Burke is in fact a real FBI agent, resulting in his immediate release.
Oh, that sure would have made it easier.
Well, if I'd have reached for it, I didn't even realize I had it on.
After that, Burke filed a lawsuit against the two cops, accusing him of using excessive force against him while he was in his official working capacity. Not even FBI agents are above the law, but you have to wonder why these two cops decided to mess around with someone who wasn't even guilty.
Okay, I'm not standing up. Listen, I'm not under arrest. I don't have a warrant.
Hey.
In June of 2019, a man was sitting outside a bar in Rochester, Minnesota, smoking when officers with the Rochester Police Department accosted him.
Your racial profile, am I? Yeah, you're wrong. You're assuming I'm someone that I'm not.
They were convinced he was the person they were looking for, but the man was sure he wasn't and asked them to leave.
Hey, you're harassing me. Yes, you are. No. He's harassing me. Why are you harassing me? You're assuming I'm someone I'm not.
Then the officers told him they would hold him because, as the officer said, he thought he was suspicious.
No. I'm free to go, okay? Us. Am I being detained? Yeah, you are. For what? I think you have more. You think? Yeah. That's an illusion. That's an illusion. You think.
Things hit the fan when the officer suddenly ordered him to stand up and told him he was under arrest.
Stand up for your hands. I'm not. Yes. For what? I don't have a warrant. You're very wrong.
The man kept repeating that the officer was wrong, but the officer wouldn't listen. Instead, he said, "If you're wrong, you're wrong."
Okay, I'm wrong. No, you are wrong.
Just the kind of assurance you want to hear from an officer of the law. The man remained adamant that they had the wrong guy.
No, you are wrong. What do you mean if you're wrong, you're wrong? You're wrong.
Then another officer joined the fray and grabbed at him.
Oh, no, hold on. You guys are not going to try to manhandle me.
Trying to wrestle the man down while the man protested his innocence and even asked why they were hassling him.
I'm not under arrest. I didn't do nothing. For what? For what? Can you tell me for what?
Instead of answering, they pulled at him and forced him into cuffs.
Let me get your card. Can I get your card? Can I get your card? Okay, I'm not standing up. Listen, I'm not under arrest. I don't have a warrant. I don't have any officers. Hey, yo! Hey!
Angrily, he told him to look at his ID.
Matter of fact, look at my ID.
But the two were too concerned about making their arrest.
For me, y'all guys are the wrong fit. Man, you guys are. Well, they want to get tough.
Finally, they went into his back pocket for his ID.
No, don't hate me. Look at it. Oh, what does that say? What does that say? Oh, wrong guy. Oh.
They took one look at it, and then they did a complete 180. If this was a cartoon, these officers' faces would be white as snow.
Wrong guy. Oh, wrong guy. Oh my God. No, get the f off me, dude.
He tried apologizing, but the man was livid and called for their supervisor.
I need our cars. I need your supervisor over here. Call your supervisor.
Seconds later, a sergeant strolls into view.
I need your guys right here. Supervisor. Sir, can you please tell me, are you the supervisor?
The man made a complaint. He wanted everybody's cards.
So, I need their cards, I need your card, I need your card.
The officer who had led this witch hunt was now chastened and mute. Cut from the same cloth, the sergeant excused their actions and played it down.
No, this is the people. Yes, I'm the people. You guys are my people. So, that's because you're corrupt. Come on, baby, come on.
He got all their cards, and these inept officers continued to back up their actions.
Assume I'm someone and try to...
Right, and he made a mistake, and then once he figured out who you were, he unhandcuffed you.
What if somebody did that to you?
Go to jail.
What if somebody did that to you?
I was going to tell anyways.
Instead of tucking their tails in at making such an embarrassing mistake, these idiots were still determined to have the last word.
So if he wants to make a complaint, he will make it.
I will make a complaint. Believe me, I will. I will make a complaint on all three of you guys.
That's fine.
As far as they were concerned, nobody died, so it didn't matter.
So you guys can make a mistake and kill someone and be like, oh, well, you don't give a How do you know? This could have turned out somebody could have got killed or no?
Now we talk about
Nobody did.
Somebody could have got
Nobody did.
At least no one got hurt at the bar. But you can't say the same for this next FBI agent who had to deal with some pretty rough cops.
Call 911. I need a medical attention right now.
This is Special Agent Alexis Hatton, who ended up locked in the backseat of a Florida cop car. But how did this happen? Let's rewind. In December of 2019, real estate agent Marilyn Bean was involved in an accident and issued a ticket by Deputy Rolf Gordon. But all of a sudden, the prosecution dismissed the charge, and the ticket was never even entered into the court system. That's when Gordon received a strange call from someone claiming to be an FBI agent, asking him to come to a parking lot for a meeting. Of course, Gordon had his reservations.
It's okay. Special Agent Hatton. The FBI.
Okay.
You got that on body cam?
I do, but I don't understand what the problem is with you meet me at the office.
The officer starts getting a little more suspicious when this FBI agent asks him to turn his body cam off.
I'll talk to the U.S. Attorney's Office about it. You can cut off the reporting device now.
Okay, well, I will when I leave the area, sir. Hey, TJ, this guy is telling me to turn my body camera off and telling me he's going to contact other people to get involved with this.
Attorney office.
Let me get his tag number real quick. It's going to be LKST57.
The man in the car was Agent Alexis Hatton, who was there to investigate the citation that Deputy Gordon himself had issued as part of an ongoing FBI inquiry about public corruption. And that is when Gordon starts getting suspicious.
I do feel like I'm being detained. Am I being detained?
Am I being detained? You're the one who called me here, sir. How did you get my phone number?
I can't give you that information.
I ain't saying he can't tell me how he got my information.
Agent Hatton cooperates with the deputy every step of the way, reassuring him that there was nothing to be scared of.
Hey, I don't think this guy's legit, man.
Take my weapon off, okay?
26 Franklin.
I'm not going to put you in cuffs. Where's it at?
He's got detained.
The agent then makes a call to his department, just to prove to the deputy that the investigation he's conducting is in fact legitimate. Eventually, multiple officers from the Franklin County Sheriff's Office show up at the scene, and Agent Hatton is then suddenly arrested. When the agent asks what he's being charged for, the officers try to make up reasons on the spot, even going so far as to say that he's coming back on the terror watch list, which obviously isn't true.
What's the charge, brother?
You don't have any yet, but right now we're running you through multiple federal databases.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody's coming up with your name. You also coming back on a terror watch list. So we're gonna secure you for our protection and yours. We're gonna put you in the back of a police car.
Where's that weapon at, sir?
It's on my right side, brother.
The cop forces Hatton into the back of a police car, and almost immediately, he starts feeling uncomfortable.
Just sit on top of it. And that jacket.
1014, he's gonna transfer it to you, sir.
Claiming that the officer had deliberately turned up the heat.
Yes, sir.
I need air, brother.
Okay. All right, I'm turning it on right now.
Open the door. I can't breathe.
Sir, I can't open the door. You're being detained right now.
While all that's going on, the deputy receives a call from his office that completely changes the game.
This gentleman is on the Panama City district, but I'm on the phone with his supervisor. He is legit.
10-4. So we can. Hold on. So they just said. All right, that's what I'm doing right now. They just called back. Sheriff said he is legit. What's he doing here? He is legit.
When it's finally confirmed that Hatton is indeed a real FBI agent, the cops quickly pull him out of the car.
Call 911. I need a medical attention right now. Call 911.
Agent Hatton then had to be rushed to the hospital, where he was thankfully able to recover. After the entire situation, Franklin County Sheriff A.J. Smith had a conversation with Hatton's supervisor, admitting that the officers needed training to make both agencies work better together. Sometimes you can tell that the cops are hoping to get away with something even when they know what they're doing is wrong. So when things don't go that way with this next person, the officer was left fuming.
So if I hand you your stuff, you'll be fine and taken off and you're not angry, right?
Meet Mac Proctor, an undercover agent who knows a thing or two about the law. So when a corrupt police officer pulls him over for no reason...
All right, Mr. Proctor, everything okay?
Do I need to answer any of your questions?
You don't have to answer anything, dude.
Okay.
You don't have to. Lucky you stand here all day.
Proctor knows exactly how to deal with the situation.
Can you go ahead and finish your job so I can carry on?
What's with the anger, dude?
I'm not angry.
You're not angry? You always talk to everybody like that?
I'm not angry.
Oh, okay.
I just want you to go ahead and wrap things up, please.
Okay.
The cop is immediately agitated when he realizes that he can't wrongfully detain Mr. Proctor since he actually knows his rights.
Well, do you understand?
Am I being detained?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
All right. So do you understand why I stopped you?
Do I need to answer any more of your questions?
You don't have to.
Okay.
Mr. Proctor wants this situation over with as soon as possible, but the cop clearly wants to keep him there.
Mr. Proctor, would you like to leave?
Do I need to answer any more of your questions?
Hello. No. I'm not the one that's acting this way, okay? I'm just asking you to do, you know, I'm trying to give you a break here, all right?
I prefer you just write me the parking ticket and let me go.
Right, okay, oh, okay.
Max sits and waits in his car while the officer comes back, letting him know that another cop will be coming to assess the situation.
Right in front of the Hawaiian that they're driving, right? Yeah.
When the officer shows up, Proctor still refuses to answer any questions or have any conversations.
I'm sorry, I'm sure you're a nice guy. I'm not in the mood to have conversation.
Since he knows that it's the only way for the officers to rile him up even more.
Hopefully I'm not keeping you from anything, am I? We don't like talking.
The final straw is when the officer actually accuses Mr. Proctor of having psychological issues in an attempt to create a scene.
Is everything okay? Is there any other issues or anything going on that I should know of?
Do I need to answer your questions?
You don't have to answer anything. I'm concerned about your well-being. Is there something wrong?
But Proctor knows that this is just a way for the officer to assert his power, so he refuses to engage.
I could be having my lunch right now. And you too.
The officer keeps Mr. Proctor there for a really long time, until he finally tries to provoke Mac one last time.
Hey, Mr. Proctor, can I just give you your stuff so you can leave?
Can you?
I can, but you're the one. I would have let you go a long time ago.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can leave?
I'll give you right now. I just want to know that, say you're okay, because usually I don't get people all this.
What do I need to do for you to hand me my documents so I can be on my way?
You're okay.
I don't need to answer any of your questions.
Hey, there we go again. Jesus Christ.
But that is when Mac really gives him a piece of his mind.
I'm trying to say that...
You're trying to display your power to me right now.
I'm concerned about it. Is there a problem to be concerned about another human being?
You have no reason to be concerned about me.
So it's okay then. You're okay then.
You can hand me my documents and I can be on my way, or we can...
Okay.
Thankfully, the officer hands Mac his documents back and he can be on his way, not letting the cop win this power play. Meet Officer Domingo Diaz from the Providence Police Department, along with his partner, Officer Mitchell Voyer. He arrested 2 teenagers in a BMW on charges of tinted windows, speeding, and running red lights. The entire situation turned into an hours-long wild chase through Providence. The chase ended when the driver of the BMW crashed into a fire hydrant.
Bro, like, do you see the severity of this? Like, you guys are going crazy, man.
The initial police report mentioned that the teenagers were brought to ground and placed in handcuffs. Diaz also claimed that one of the boys pointed a BB gun rifle at the officers and civilians before the arrest.
The 3 teenagers in a BMW convertible accused of driving erratically and pointing a BB gun rifle at civilians and police.
But soon enough, there was evidence of just how violent the arrest really was.
When they finally crashed into a fire hydrant on Salmon Street, police are seen on video pulling them out of the car. More than one officer throws punches.
Over 8 hours of footage from the cop's body cam shows Officer Diaz using unnecessary physical violence on an already restrained juvenile when there was absolutely no need for it whatsoever. To make things worse, Diaz is then joined by a bunch of other cops who believed that the young boys were the ones instigating the violence. Both the boys are repeatedly punched to the point where Diaz has to be restrained by a sergeant who showed up at the scene. But that is not enough. Diaz goes back to one of the teenagers for one final act of humiliation. After the videos were made public, Diaz and Voyer were both suspended on the count of excessive use of force, and a 9-month investigation was launched against them.
Look, I'm not going to describe the force, but I saw excessive use of force in some of the body cams that is both troubling and appalling.
Sadly, though, both the officers got off with no charges after force experts claimed that the case was just too close for them to make a call. While Diaz and Voyer managed to evade the law, you won't believe what happened to this racist officer. But before that, this is Devion Kieslak, a 13-year-old boy with cerebral palsy and severe mental health issues that would often result in outbursts. Here he is being arrested by Officer Tyler Collins, who has violently handcuffed his hands to his back.
Get your feet. Get your feet in the car and stop kicking me. No! Right? Get your feet in the car right now.
No! Collins! Collins, wait, Collins!
But how did things get to this point? Devion's grandma, Tommy Wright, had to call the cops after Devion was being a bit mischievous.
They wanted to go somewhere as usual, and it was getting dark, and I told him he couldn't go. So he just insisted that he went anyway, put his coat on. So I said, well, I'm gonna call the police. He said, go ahead.
Now, Tommy had called these cops 38 times over 4 years whenever she needed a little bit of help with Devion. Usually, they deal with him in a super friendly way.
And they would talk to Davion, they would tell him to take his coat off. Davion, you know you're not going anywhere. And they would talk to him for about an hour, and then they would leave.
Officer Collins, the cop who showed up that day, even knew him by name. But instead of just talking things out, this time around, he handcuffed him and put him in a cop car, clearly upsetting the young boy.
Well, I heard Davion screaming and howling, saying that, give me another chance, give me another chance. And Officer Collins told me he wasn't gonna give him another chance. He'd had all the chances he was gonna get that day.
The officer keeps torturing Devion, even going as far as to accuse him of domestic violence.
The reason we're up here, bud, is because of your behavioral issues, right?
But man, where you gonna take me?
No, you're going to the juvenile home.
For what?
For domestic violence.
For what? I didn't even do anything.
We're going after Grandma.
Can I get a bail?
No, you're over there until Monday.
No, not until Monday. I got school on Monday. I can't go nowhere. Please help me. Please.
Listen to me. You made these decisions.
Can I go to my mama's?
Nope.
Please, is anywhere you said to do in the home? I'll do
Nope.
The interaction triggers Devion's mental illness, and you can see him start to bang his head in the video under extreme stress.
Stop banging. All right? You're not getting out.
I have to. Please help.
Get in the car.
No.
But while Officer Collins should have stepped up and calmed the young boy down, he goes ahead and physically attacks Devion, punching him into the car.
In the car.
But that is not where it ends. The officer also uses pepper spray to restrain Devion, despite the boy screaming and yelling.
Now! Get in the car! Get in the car!
Thankfully, Devion's grandma showed up when she heard the commotion, but even she was horrified to witness the scene.
And the police kept beating him and beating him and beating him and beating him with this.
According to a statement issued by the Albion Police Department, the officer involved was fired in February of 2019, after an internal investigation concluded that all the torture he put the young boy through was unnecessary. Officer Collins got exactly what he deserved after doing all that. And you can say the same for Officer Rodriguez, who took all his anger out on an inmate. This is Officer Matthew Rodriguez, a 14-year veteran serving in the Michigan Police Department, who has now been suspended and charged with assault and willful neglect of duty. Why? In June 2023, Rodriguez was in charge of processing a 19-year-old carjacking suspect, Jaquan Smith, who had been arrested for multiple felonies. You can see the officer engaging in a conversation with the inmate-to-be, and that is when things immediately go wrong. Out of nowhere, the cop starts physically attacking the young boy, shoving him right into a wall. As Rodriguez continues his assault, two other officers rush in and help the officer as he pins the suspect on the floor, pulling his hair and yelling something at him. The inmate struggles as the officer continues to pounce on him, and you can clearly see that there's no resistance from his side at all. The situation grows more and more aggressive, and the boy has no choice but to keep taking it. Rodriguez then violently throws him into a cell. Smith suffered a concussion and struggled with his vision for a long time after the incident. Thankfully, justice was served when Rodriguez was fired and charged with 2 misdemeanor charges after all he did. Some people just aren't fit to be cops, and this next officer is no exception, considering just how he tries to frame an innocent man.
Did they catch you on the body cam there? I mean, the body cam video definitely was different than what your testimony was.
I have no comment, sir.
Meet Ronald Shields, a 52-year-old black man who is being arrested and charged with felony hit and run, possession of illegal substances, and having a gun in his trunk. In his police report, officers claimed that they found a small bag of illegal substances in the front left pocket of Shields' shirt.
Officer Lee is seen here searching the suspect. He testified in court, the same as what the police report shows, that the cocaine was found in Shields' front left pocket.
But the body cam video tells a completely different story. The footage shows an officer picking the small bag up off the ground and not from Shields' pocket like authorities claimed.
LAPD officer Gaxiola picks up Shields' wallet from the street, shows it to Officer Lee, who points to the suspect as if to say it's his. He puts it back down, then steps on the street, bends over and picks up a small bag with white powder. It eventually tested positive for drugs.
The cop then motions to another officer and appears to be placing the bag inside the suspect's wallet.
He goes back on the sidewalk, picks up the wallet, and motions to Lee, and appears to put the bag in the wallet.
After that, he appears to turn the body cam on, trying to make it look like the bag was already inside the wallet.
On the video, after he collects the wallet, he shows it off and brags about it to some of the others.
But what he doesn't know is that his body cam was already on.
You hear the audio and saw the officer's hand. That's when he actually activated the recording on the camera. But what he may not have known is that the previous 30 seconds is automatically saved without audio.
The officer also goes on to mention 3 separate times in the video about how he found an illegal substance in the suspect's wallet.
There's a little bag of narco in it. Where? You see it?
Not just once.
Just so you know, sir, inside this thing, there's a little bag of narco.
Not just twice.
Just to let you know, sir, inside his wallet, he has a little bag of narco, yeah.
But 3 times.
While the report says that the bag was found in his left pocket. When the officer was questioned about how his claims in the report were inconsistent with the body cam footage, he had nothing to say.
The body cam video clearly shows that you picking it up off the ground and putting it in the suspect's wallet. Why would you do that, sir?
No comment.
Proving that he might not have been the most honest in the first place. While the LAPD is still investigating the incident, the drug charges on Ronald Shields have all allegedly been dropped. At least this cop had some grounds to pull Shields over. This next constable started questioning two men for absolutely no reason.
I'm stopping you because you're suspicious.
Aaron Blackwell and his cousin Darrell Cunningham were minding their own business after shopping at Nordstrom Rack in Indianapolis when this security guard started following them around.
There was nothing suspicious about what we did, nothing to cause any eyes to even really be on us.
Now get this, he watched them pay inside, but now he's outside getting all up in their faces, demanding Darrell's driver's license because he looks suspicious.
Driver's license out.
For what?
Because I told you to.
You haven't have a reason, sir. You didn't pull me over. But you didn't pull me over.
Get the license out, or I'll hit for a backup and I'll take you out of the car. Get your driver's license out.
Call your supervisor, sir.
Get your driver's license out right now.
Call your supervisor. You're off duty?
Exactly, off-duty employment.
If you're off duty, then why are you stopping people?
I'm stopping you because you're suspicious.
The two men immediately started recording the encounter as the cops started going on a racist rant, even threatening to lock them up.
What's your name?
Read your badge number and your name.
Get your driver's license.
Read your badge. I'm asking you, you can't lock me up. You can't lock me up.
Control Tom 3315.
But when Blackwell and his cousin asked for identification, the guard immediately switched up the story, claiming that he was a police officer.
You don't have the right to run this.
I got my right to do anything I want to do. I'm a police officer.
You can't.
Jones demands that the men hand over their identification, and when they don't, he immediately starts getting aggressive.
Oh, it's not going to be let go.
I don't care what.
Sir, what is your name?
Threaten me. Are you threatening me?
It's not going to be let go.
Are you going to threaten me? Are you crazy?
Why you got your hand in here?
You going to threaten a police officer?
Why you got your hand on the window? I'm not scared of you. I'm not worried about you.
I'm not worried about you either.
We ain't broke no laws.
Get your driver's license out right now.
Jones eventually calls for backup, and an officer from the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department arrives on the scene and hears both sides of the story.
Officer, okay, so when we first came in here, right? So he comes here all the time.
Sure.
I'm his cousin. Okay. So we came in here, he bought some things for his daughter, we bought a few pair of shoes.
But surprise, surprise, he too realizes that the two men have done nothing wrong.
Couldn't really articulate what he was trying to say.
Yeah, as far as I know, based upon what happened, I don't think either of us have any reasonable suspicion to believe that there's a crime taking place. It says there's no reason for a traffic stop at this point. So there's no legal requirement for you to identify yourself to an officer at that point. So if you don't want to give him ID, then you don't have to give him ID at that point.
And we tried to be calm and talk to him like that, and he just, I don't have to tell you anything. Leaning in the car, spitting all in the car. He's just, I don't know if he's having a bad day. His wife left him. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine.
But hey, man, I appreciate you, boss.
As far as I'm concerned, you guys are good to go.
Yes, sir. All right, appreciate it.
After the video was posted online and the situation blew up, the Lawrence Township Chief Constable immediately fired him. And the store he was working at, they wanted nothing to do with him either. While Aaron and his cousin managed to get out of the situation unharmed, I can't say the same for this next suspect, who is targeted by not just one, but 7 cops. In 2015, Cortez Bufford filed a lawsuit against the St. Louis Police Department when he was pulled over and attacked by 7 cops for absolutely no reason at all. Cortez was driving his car when the cops pulled him over and forced him to get out of his car. When the man asked one of the cops the reason for his sudden stop, he immediately started dragging him out of the car. Soon enough, the others came rushing in. Repeatedly shocking Cortez with a taser, despite the fact that he wasn't resisting. After the suspect was handcuffed, they started forcing him to get on his feet, and that is when an officer identified as Kelly Swinton began warning the other officers.
Hold up, everybody hold up. We're red right now, so if you guys are worried about cameras, just wait.
Bufford's officers eventually settled in the case for $20,000, and the officer who turned the camera off is said to have been disciplined by the police department. In 2019, Chicago police officers raided the Archie family's home, not just once, but 3 times in 4 months, leaving the family absolutely traumatized.
Chicago police! Go there, watch it right.
But the worst one was the second time around, when they forcefully entered the house when only 3 children were present in the absence of any adult.
Go. Get down!
Right from the get-go, the police make no attempt to talk to the residents peacefully, absolutely terrifying the children.
Relax.
No!
Relax. Come on, Uncle Chestnut. Please do not shoot me. Please.
You're fine. Come on, get up.
The officers then ask one of the kids to get up from the ground and follow them, refusing to answer any questions.
Put your shoes on.
Where's we going?
Put your shoes on. Just go. We're going out front, all right?
Clear.
When the oldest girl in the room lets the police know that she was on the phone with her friend, the officer immediately grabs her phone, asking her to hang up.
Wait, I'm on the phone. My friend. Can I please?
You're gonna have to hang up for right now.
Okay, I got it.
Hang up.
Okay. Please. No. Sandra, I'm gonna call you back. Okay? Sandra!
It's all right. Just hang up right now. All right, you're fine. Come on.
The officers then take all the kids to one room, getting them to put their hands behind their backs.
Say, hey, over here. Have a seat. Hold your hands like your sister.
At this point, you can clearly see just how terrified they are.
It's okay. You're okay.
One of the girls even calls the cops out for having wrongfully broken down their door before.
He does over here? Who lives here?
My mom, me, and us.
What's your mom's name?
Crystal Archie.
Okay.
Did y'all just break that door again?
Yeah. So this happened before, right?
Yeah, she was here.
One of the officers starts questioning the children about illegal substances, leading a little girl to try to convince them of their innocence.
So you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, y'all talking about weed, cocaine, anything.
Yeah. So we stopped selling out of here? We stopped keeping it here?
Who?
Whoever keeps it here?
We never had it.
If not your uncle, the guys that live upstairs?
The guys that live upstairs?
They haven't even been down here anymore.
No?
They haven't been down here no more? Your mom don't let them down here?
Huh?
Your mom don't let them down here no more?
Yeah, she do. Like, she let me and them down here, but, like, that's it.
After the incident, Crystal Archie went on the record to talk about how the officers kept on wrongfully raiding her home, violating her family's rights.
The children are scared. My family is scared for us. Everybody is worried about what is going to happen next. We have never had our homes raided before. And these 3 raids all happened in the course of a few months. Officers constantly came back. There was no time to breathe in between. I get the house together and they were back in my home again. We don't have anything to do with narcotics and sales.
She also let everyone know that the police definitely did point their guns at the kids in an attempt to scare them when they were all alone.
There were, they called them big guns, Mom. They said they're big guns. They described them as being very long.
Since then, the family has filed a lawsuit against the city and the police department. If you thought that was the worst it can get, let me tell you, it's not even close. Because sometimes cops end up taking innocent lives in the middle of these botched raids. But before that, in June of 2023, officers were dispatched about a burglary that took place during a party after receiving a very disturbing 911 call.
Somebody just kicked my door in.
What's your address?
I'm at 30 8th Street.
I'm not trying to hit you.
I will, Daddy. Please come out.
I'm coming. I got officers on the way, okay?
When the officers arrived on the scene, they had no idea that they'd gotten the wrong address. Coincidentally, the house they ended up at had the back door open.
Back door, like, cracked open. Is there a way to just walk around there?
You can't.
which corroborated information received in the call.
Hey, day code, back door is open.
The officers then made their way toward the house, trying to enter through the back door.
I can't see you there. I'm going outside. Okay.
That is when the homeowner's dogs sensed a disturbance and launched at the police. And everything starts going wrong from there.
Dog's back here.
So not only have the officers ended up at the wrong house, but one of them also shoots a poor dog who was only trying to protect its owner.
Easy, puppy. Easy, puppy. Easy.
Soon enough, the homeowner rushes out to a sight that she never wanted to witness.
I'm sorry. We got a call that somebody. Yeah, and the dog just came back after me.
The police then try to explain what's just happened.
We're 10-4 in the backyard for now. Taser deployed on.
Yeah. Well, we got called that somebody was breaking in, and it was just unknown. So that's why we were back here. The door's wide open, and it don't look good in our situation. That's why we're here. And the dog charged me, so I shot it. The black one. I don't know where.
You shot my dog?
The black one.
The gun?
Yeah, it's still over there.
The black dog's over here.
Obviously, she doesn't take the news very well.
Okay.
Shot my dog with the gun?
With a taser.
Huh?
Taser.
Who? No, I shot it, bro.
You shot him?
I shot it. Is it? Hey, can we?
Oh my God.
Supervisor coming?
Yeah.
All right. We got a supervisor coming, ma'am.
The officers do step in and help the lady take her pet to the vet.
Yeah, they're not coming out. The owner got to take it. Yeah.
Thank you.
But the poor pup eventually passes away from its injuries. As wrong as that is, sometimes cops do make honest mistakes, but is it really just a mistake when an innocent life is lost? This is Robert Dotson, a man who was fatally shot in his own home during a wrongful raid.
It's Wednesday night around 11:30 when 3 Farmington police officers are called to a home on Valley View Avenue for domestic violence. But for some reason, they go to the wrong house.
It's April 2023 at around 11:30 p.m. when Farmington police officers are dispatched to handle a domestic violence report. They arrive at what they think is the right house and approach the door and announce themselves.
Police department.
Another view of this video shows the police requesting address information from dispatch and discussing it amongst themselves.
Is it 43 or 5308?
Yeah, 5308.
Is this not 5308? That's what it said right there, right?
That's 5305, isn't it?
108. Can you 10-9 the address?
5308 Valley View Avenue, had a confidence factor.
Don't tell me I'm wrong.
A few seconds later, Dotson opens the door and immediately points a firearm at the officers. And that's when things go terribly wrong.
Hey. Shots fired! Shots fired! Yeah, you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Back up, back up. Check yourself, check yourself.
The officers immediately shoot at the suspect, who's dead on the spot. And then the waiting game begins.
One down. Hey, he went down.
That is when Dotson's wife enters the picture, shooting the officers with Dotson's gun, since she believed, quite reasonably, that their house was under attack.
Please don't. Man!
The officers return fire at the hysterical wife, but thankfully she sustains no injuries.
4115, we need units now.
Farmington Police!
Hey, somebody get the back.
I'm with you.
The police chief went on record to explain the entire ordeal as it happened, confirming that his officers went to the wrong house.
There was a cell phone call. Cell phone calls different than landlines where you know the exact address on a landline. It comes in with a confidence factor. I think it's an unbelievable tragedy. It's unbelievable for the family. He's got kids, a wife, and I can't imagine really what a horrific night that would be for the family.
Kimberly Dotson then went on to file a lawsuit against the officers involved in the deadly shooting at the wrong house. Just like the Archie family, the Mendes family also had to go through a traumatizing experience that still haunts their children to this day.
But you kick down doors of people that you're not sure if they're scaring my kids?
This is the home of the Mendes family, one that's just about to be wrongfully raided under the supervision of Chicago police officer Joe Capello. It all started when the police received a call about drugs being sold in an apartment unit, but Capello failed to verify the address and ended up bursting into the wrong unit, belonging to the Mendes family.
Chicago Police 911! Chicago Police 911! Get on the ground! 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 Get on the f***ing ground! To the right. Hey, I got the door right here. Grab him.
The family is in complete shock when the police barge in and start yelling at them without any explanation at all.
Grant's behind your back, buddy. So you're good? You got anything on you?
No, sir. I got a pocket knife. Yes, sir. Right here.
The officers start handcuffing everyone in the house, including the young children who are completely traumatized at this point.
I'm so sorry.
He's not. He's not. There's nothing here. He's not here. He's not.
You guys, relax. It's okay, okay? It's okay. Your daddy's okay.
No, he's okay.
He's okay.
I'm so sorry.
Mrs. Mendes tries to explain to the police that the warrant they have might just be for the family living in another unit and not them.
I thought it was for maybe the people up there, the people down here. When you came like there with the flashlight, I called my husband. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Second floor, right?
Yes.
Who lives up there?
I don't know their name. It's a African American couple.
But the officers refuse to listen.
Is that because somebody called?
No.
The only reason why I'm asking is because
Why don't you just take a seat and just relax?
we've been having trouble.
The only reason I put you in handcuffs is just to detain you. You're not under arrest, okay? Just so you know.
We've been having problems with the people downstairs, so I don't understand like our door getting kicked in and all this kind of stuff. We've never been in trouble with the law.
Mrs. Mendes continues to ask the cops why they broke their doors down without being sure of the address, but the officers keep justifying their behavior and continue to ransack the house.
But you kick down doors of people that you're not sure if they're scaring my kids?
Well, a judge signed off on this, okay? Said that we can do this. So yes, unfortunately,
and it has our name on it?
It does happen. It has this address on it.
She also stops her kids from giving the cops any kind of reaction, just to make sure that they all stay safe.
I didn't know. I was just in the bedroom playing my phone.
Yeah, well...
And I just heard a door bust down.
That's okay. I mean, we're not here for you guys. We're here because of this address.
When the officers give Mrs. Mendes the warrant, she gets furious once she confirms the address.
Curtis Roberts, they live upstairs. They live upstairs.
Why don't you just...
All right, baby.
The guy got the phone.
That's the couple upstairs. He's on house arrest and all this other kind of bullshit.
Body cam footage from one of the officers then confirms that they indeed had the wrong address.
Dude, he gave us the wrong apartment. He gave us the wrong apartment. He gave us the wrong apartment. He said up the stairs, and it's the first door right there. He gave us the wrong apartment. Remember the pictures I gave him? I think it's upstairs.
Years later, the Mendes family opened up about the incident and how it left a scar on them forever.
Me and my brother, we were on our phones, well, tablets or phones, and next thing you know, we just hear the door bam, well, rammed down, I guess.
Rammed it down?
Yeah, not like the door fell on the floor, but you know, like broken. Next thing you know, I look back and I just see the cops coming through our door.
With guns?
Yes, all like assault rifles, maybe like a few pistols, like a holster right here.
And they put those guns to your parents' faces?
Yes, and us.
And you too?
Yeah.
Thankfully, after all this, the officers in charge of the wrongful raid did face suspension for their behavior. Meet Jordi Yanis Martel, a police officer facing 4 battery charges and 1 trespassing charge. But how did this all happen? In January of 2020, Martel, an officer with the Miami Gardens Police Department, filed an arrest report alleging that while he was working off-duty security at Tootsie's Cabaret,
the incident takes place at 5 in the morning at Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami Gardens, and the off-duty police officer working who writes the report is Jordi Yanis Martel.
he had tased a drunk woman who refused to sit on the curb and was punching and kicking at officers.
According to the police report, Satchel seemed off balance, and when the officer asked her to take a seat on the curb, she said, "I'm not going to sit down because I'm black, and that's how you guys beat black people up."
But as it turns out, everything he said was a lie.
At that moment, I didn't know if I was being shot or tased. Like, I know my body was, he was holding me down, the other officer was holding me down, so at that moment I just didn't know what was going on. All I could do is just scream.
A leaked video proved that Jordi was the one at fault all along.
You kneeing on her neck though, that's weird. Why is I kneeing on her neck though?
32-year-old Sophia Satchel was kicked out of Tootsie's Cabaret for throwing money at a waitress.
Back at Tootsie's, the report says the incident involved 33-year-old Sophia Satchel, who was being disorderly and disrespectful towards staff members. The manager wanted her out.
As she tried to make her way out, Martel approached her.
Is there a reason why you need my ID?
Yes, you're being trespassed from the location.
The club owner had told him to tell her never to return, but Martel had other ideas.
Okay, you need to follow me to my car, please?
Like drive?
No, you're gonna walk, you're gonna leave your car here, we're gonna go to my car, I'm gonna do the trespass, and then you'll be free to go.
He told her that she was trespassing and ordered her to step out of the car.
Whatever it is, we're not gonna go back and forth. Either you come out with me and we do the trespass, or you get arrested. How you wanna do it? Last time that you came out of the car, or I'm gonna get you out of the car.
When Satchel refused, he reached into the car, opened the door, dragged her out, and threw her to the ground.
Don't reach in my car. Is you crazy? You can't reach in my car.
What are you doing?
Like, no, what is he doing? I want to, like, come on, don't be fucking pulling. Like, what's wrong with you?
While kneeling on Satchel's neck, Martel got his stun gun out and hit her twice in the stomach.
Why is you kneeing on her neck though? That's weird. Why is I kneeing on her neck though? Why are you kneeing on her?
The video was a third strike against Martel, who was already on thin ice after being seen in another video using excessive force.
Cell phone video shows an officer punching and then tussling with a man.
Barely 2 years after the Miami Gardens Police Department had hired him, Martel was fired and found himself facing charges of his own.
He was fired over excessive force allegations, and now he's facing charges by the state.
The trial began with the prosecution painting a pretty graphic picture of Martel's actions that night.
Defendant, that man at that table, while holding one of her arms with his hand, puts his knee on her neck while she's on her back, and her stomach is only covered by this thin piece of material, but his actions do not stop there.
And pointing out the lies he used in covering up the arrest report.
You're omitting certain facts that were necessary and important, and just misrepresented other facts that are also necessary and important.
The defense fired back that Martel's knee was not on her neck and tried to blame Satchel for not cooperating.
You do see that, but you are not going to see any clear indication that that neck or that knee is actually on the neck. In fact, you're going to hear contrary evidence.
In the end, Martel was found not guilty of the felony charges, as is so often the case, but guilty of battery and trespassing. Before the sentence was handed down, Satchel finally faced the officer who had attacked her.
From his knee choking the life out of me, fabricating reports and lying on me, to being tased multiple times in the abdomen while being pregnant, I want him to suffer as much as he intended for me to suffer that night.
Martel also spoke in court, but the judge was not convinced.
This is not a profession that Mr. Giannis Martel is equipped from his actions to have.
Martel was sentenced to 30 days in jail, and he has to spend a minimum of 100 hours speaking at the police academy about what not to do when serving as a police officer, since he would know. Everybody has bad days at work, but you can use that as an excuse to take your anger out on other people. But I guess some cops just don't get that memo.
Put your hand behind your back. Can I say something, Jack, please? Put your hand behind your back.
Before that, though, this is Officer Kevin Perez, who was charged with felony battery after the extremely violent arrest of Delonta Crudup. In the early hours of July 26, 2021, 26-year-old Delonta Crudup was enjoying the last days of his vacation at Miami Beach. That day, he rode a rented scooter to see his friends. As he tried to park, he fell over. Some officers milling around laughed along with his friends at the spectacle. Then Crudup gave one of the officers the middle finger and zoomed off, running over one officer's foot. The other officers tried to get him to stop, but Crudup refused. A high-speed chase began.
For allegedly fleeing from them on a scooter. Crudup allegedly struck an officer with that scooter, and police pursued him to the Royal Palm Hotel.
Once Crudup got to the hotel, he ran into an elevator, but a lieutenant rushed into the lobby and stopped him at gunpoint.
Video shows he then ran inside the Royal Palm Hotel, and a lieutenant confronts him in the elevator at gunpoint.
Crudup dropped to the ground and was cuffed. More officers poured in and started to dish out their brand of jungle justice, kicking Crudup, hitting him, and slamming him into the ground. Crudup had to get 6 stitches after this vicious assault. Kevin Perez was one of 5 Miami Beach police officers charged in the incident. He had kicked Crudup's head at least 3 times.
But after Crudup is handcuffed, prosecutors say Officer Kevin Perez kicks him and slams his head. Then another officer kicks him again.
The trial began with the prosecution painting a picture of a man intimidated by the police.
The defendant punches him in the back of the head, and that's on his body on camera. Comes up to him and punches him right in the back of the head.
Delonta himself went on the stand to explain his side of the story.
Every officer that came in that room constantly punch, kick, and laugh, giggling.
But the defense wanted to paint a completely different picture. They saw Crudup as a mischievous person who had made trouble wherever he went.
Delonta Crudup was the bad guy, and Kevin Perez, a police officer, is the good guy.
They caught a lucky break when they learned he had been arrested in Washington, D.C. and Kentucky after this incident.
Delonta Crudup has every incentive to say that Kevin Perez committed a battery upon him, so he won't have to account for his own behavior.
City officials also spoke up about how unjustifiable Perez's actions were, though.
However, as I've previously said, excessive force can never, ever be an acceptable foundation for the policing of any community.
After deliberating for 2 hours and asking to view the video clip over and over, the jury came back with a guilty verdict.
Find the defendant, Kevin Perez, as to count 1 battery, guilty. So say we all, signed by the foreperson, Cedric Taylor.
Perez's disappointment was pretty evident as he shook his head in total shock.
Miami Beach police officer Kevin Perez shakes his head moments after learning he was found guilty of simple battery.
Some would say that cops like Perez give the entire force a bad name, but Officer Aaron Dean takes that to a whole different level.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands up!
Aaron Dean is a former Fort Worth police officer who shot and killed 28-year-old Atatiana Jefferson in her own home. In the early morning of October 12, 2019, Officer Dean showed up at Atatiana's house after a call from one of her neighbors, who suspected that something weird was going on.
The front door was open since 10 o'clock. I haven't seen anybody moving around.
Surprisingly, the door to the house was wide open, allowing the cops to enter without any permission. The body cam footage of the incident shows Officer Dean walking around the house with his flashlight for a few minutes, and that is when the unthinkable happens. The officer is looking around, trying to see any signs of disturbance, which is when he sees Atatiana in the window. That's when things go terribly wrong.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Without so much as a second thought, the cop shoots the innocent woman before she even realizes what's going on. According to a BBC report, the officer fired within seconds of seeing Jefferson, which obviously goes against protocol. After the body cam footage of the incident started making rounds on the internet, a warrant was issued for his arrest.
Take a look at new video of Dean being booked in the Tarrant County Jail last night. He spent the night there after he was convicted of manslaughter in the death of Atatiana Jefferson.
And then Officer Dean was taken to court where Aaron's partner testified against him.
And why are you saying hands up?
I can't tell you exactly why I said hands up. I don't know if I was in a heightened state of adrenaline, and that's the last thing I heard, so I said it too. But I wanted to announce that we were coming in the house.
Officer Dean himself also took the stand, explaining his side of the story, claiming that he believed him and his officers were under threat since he saw the woman pointing a gun at him.
I'm just looking right down the barrel of a gun. And when I saw the barrel of that gun pointed at me, and I fired a single shot from my duty weapon.
Dean had to fight back his tears as he talked about the shooting, but at the end of the day, even he admitted that the protocol could have been followed better.
You did none of those things, correct?
Correct.
You just walked across the fatal tunnel, correct?
Yes.
Is that good police work?
It was following the procedure for open structure and not alerting a potential burglar inside the house.
Was that good police work? It wasn't, was it?
It could have been better.
Atatiana's nephew, on the other hand, went to the stand and insisted that his aunt did not have the weapon up when the officer shot.
Did you see, whenever your Aunt Tay walked towards the window with the gun, did you see her kind of pull the gun up just a little bit away from her side?
That's right.
Now, when we talked before, you said that she did kind of pull the gun up a little bit. You remember that?
That's right.
It's okay if you remember it. I mean, I just want you to remember exactly the way you do. Do you remember if she had the gun up or down?
Down.
Now, are you sure she didn't have it up at all?
No, sir.
After all was said and done, and the jury was shown the body cam footage, Officer Dean was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to 11 years in prison. If you thought that was cruel, wait till you see how this next cop brutally assaulted an innocent man for absolutely no reason.
Going to jail. I am sorry. Because you didn't have mercy on me.
This is Officer Michael Sipple, who was accused of attacking a man named Christopher Pate after wrongfully arresting him for burglary.
I just showed him what I had in my hand. No, you don't need to see shit.
Pate is minding his own business when the officer walks up to him demanding his ID.
ID?
Have a good day off.
Do you have ID on you?
Have a good day off.
Do you have ID?
Have a good day off.
All right. What's your name? Stop.
When Pate doesn't engage, the officer starts getting visibly aggressive and walking after the man.
What's your name? You could have just pulled that out.
You have no right. You have no right.
I do.
You have no right. You know what? You cross the road without.
All right, fine.
Pate repeatedly lets them know that they have the wrong man, but the officer then attempted to arrest him for no reason at all.
I did not do anything wrong to you. You
put your hands behind your back.
You have my ID. You have my ID. I ain't do anything.
Behind your back.
Behind your back.
Behind your back.
You have my ID.
Behind your back.
You have my ID.
What are you reaching for?
My ID. You have my ID.
Behind your back.
You have my ID.
The situation escalates as the officers tackle Pate down to the ground, refusing to even look at the ID he's just given them.
Behind your back! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Please.
Stop! Keep him behind your back!
Resisting. You have my ID.
After Pate is tasered, the officers force him up, searching him all over again, and even blaming the poor man for whatever's happening.
We have established. We have your ID.
What are you reaching for that you won't put your hands?
What is in your waist? What are you reaching for?
I have a lighter to light up my cigarettes.
Okay,
that's all.
Why are you being uncooperative? You would just stop. This would be nothing. This would all be over. But instead, you want to act like a clown.
At that point, Pate is badly injured.
And that's why I was asking you for your ID. which at first you didn't give to me.
Well, then I'll apologize.
But then when you want to be a smart ass, then we're going to ding you for crossing the road illegally.
I apologize.
That's it.
The officer is then seen narrating the entire incident to other members of the police force, exaggerating the story.
I go to grab him. Eventually, he pulls out his ID. It's not him. We're like, okay, you're going to play that game? You're going to go for jaywalking. All right. So we found him over here, asked him for his ID again. He keeps saying, "You no reason to stop me. Go hands on." All he keeps yelling is, "You have my ID, you have my ID." Keeps reaching in front really hard. So he's just being a freaking asshole the whole time.
After all that, Pate apologizes to the cops, requesting for them to let him go. But Officer Sipple has other ideas.
Well, you know what? Just don't be stupid next time.
So dumb.
What?
You made
What?
this
No,
up.
you did this. If I stepped out with you, listen, stop. If you know I'm not looking for you, when I step out with you, oh, here, sir, sorry. Am I the guy you're looking for? No, you're not. Okay, have a nice day. Instead, you want to be the white cop's looking for the black guy, right? You want to be that guy today.
After the poor man is put into the back of the vehicle, he keeps apologizing for the misunderstanding.
Please.
Hey, you just caught yourself a bunch of charges. Please. Slide in. You guys good?
But that's when you get to see just how cruel this Officer Sipple really is.
No, you're going to jail.
I am sorry.
Because you didn't have mercy on me.
Sorry.
You think I wanted to do all this?
Please.
Do you think I wanted to do all this?
I don't mean to make your day wrong.
It doesn't matter.
Please.
You're going to jail.
I am sorry, truthfully.
You're going to jail.
Please. Please.
It doesn't matter.
Please.
After the Rochester Police Department got hold of the video, Michael Sipple was convicted for physically assaulting a man during an arrest and was taken to trial for his crimes.
The full-length video stems from the arrest of Christopher Pate by former Rochester police officer Michael Sipple. Sipple was found guilty of assault and fired back in May.
City officials also reacted to the footage that was also shown to the jury, saying that what Sipple did was truly unforgivable.
To see a man in this day and age be treated inhumanely was what hurt the most.
In the closing arguments, Gina Clark, who was representing Pate, made it a point to talk about how the officer had no right to assault someone like that.
The video shows Christopher Pate never engaged in any assaultive behavior. He never punched, he never kicked, or in any other way threatened the defendant or Officer McAvoy.
In the end, Officer Sipple was found guilty of the charges against him and was also placed on probation for 3 years for his crime.
I'm placing you on probation for a period of 3 years.
As horrible as that situation was, though, at least Pate made it out alive. Others have not been so lucky. This is Laquan McDonald, a 17-year-old boy who was fatally shot by Chicago police officer named Jason Van Dyke, who was charged with first-degree murder for the young boy's death. According to Van Dyke's police report, McDonald was behaving violently and pulled a knife out, attempting to harm the officer, which is why he was shot. But the officer's statement was proven to be a lie after a video of the encounter painted a completely different picture. Around 10 p.m., the police were called to investigate the boy who was reported to be carrying around a knife and breaking into vehicles. You can see Laquan rushing past a Burger King and away from the police mobile with a knife in his hand, but not pointed at anyone. When the officers catch up to the boy, he's seen trying to walk away from them instead of coming at them with his knife. After he fails to listen to the cops who tell him to drop his weapon, the first shot is fired and McDonald falls to the ground. McDonald was reportedly shot 16 times by Van Dyke while he was down on the ground, posing no threat to anyone. Another angle of the footage shows other officers showing up to the scene, but they stay back since Van Dyke is already shooting the boy at that point.
Back to the first dash cam, and at the same second, officers are opening the doors and jumping out of their SUV, but they stand back as the shots are already being fired.
Less than a minute after McDonald was dead, a barrage of cop mobiles arrives at the location, watching the whole thing unfold. Of course, the released footage sparked a lot of anger, and Van Dyke was immediately charged for McDonald's murder.
Public outcry led to mass protests, the dismissal of the police superintendent, and the election defeat of the state's attorney, who charged Van Dyke only after the video was released.
But of course, he did all he could to defend himself, trying to pin the blame on the young boy.
His face had no expression. His eyes were just bugging out of his head. He had just these huge white eyes just staring right through me. I was yelling at him, drop the knife. I yelled, I don't know how many times, but that's all I yelled.
And did he keep advancing toward you?
He never stopped.
Van Dyke tried to convince the jury that McDonald was a threat not only to him, but also his fellow police officers.
He waved the knife from his lower right side upwards, across his body, towards my left shoulder.
But of course, none of what he was saying matched the released video, proving that the officer was lying to justify shooting an innocent man 16 times.
I could see him starting to push up with his left hand off the ground. I shot at that knife. I wanted him to get rid of that knife.
When it was time for the verdict to be announced, Van Dyke was found guilty of second-degree murder and 16 counts of aggravated battery with firearms. After it all went down, the Inspector General also released a report confirming that the cops lied to cover up Van Dyke's crimes and exaggerate the threat to them.
The Inspector General found Officer Jason Van Dyke and fellow cops lied to exaggerate the threat posed by McDonald, who was high and armed with a knife.
Van Dyke had also destroyed handwritten notes from civilians along with several police reports to make sure that his particular truth never came out.
This report completed long before Van Dyke faced a jury at the Cook County Criminal Courthouse last fall. In it, Joe Ferguson, the IG, stated Van Dyke made numerous false statements and material omissions during his subsequent interviews with CPD and the Independent Police Review Authority.
Officer Van Dyke was then sentenced to over 7 years in prison for his crime.